I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and today I'm going to show you how to finish the back of an embroidered piece if you're framing it in an embroidery hoop, and I don't use any glue. So I'm going to show you, I'm framing this piece in a hoop, and what I'm going to show you is what I do with this extra fabric. You don't want it showing around on the front of the frame, and I really don't like to glue. Some people will glue it to the inside of the frame, but I found that I have problems with glue bleeding out when you squeeze the frame on there really tight, which you're going to want to do. That can squeeze, even if you don't have very much glue, it can squeeze little blobs out. It probably wouldn't show on this dark denim, but if I were using a lighter color fabric, which a lot of embroidered pieces are on a light colored fabric, it would show immediately. So what I do, I center it in the frame, just put it in the hoop, and then I trim all around the outside edge, and I give it probably 1.5 inches, maybe even 2 inches. I don't worry about getting it super even. You can see that it's a little wobbly around the edges. And then I actually will fold that in and stitch it in place, and that's what I'm going to show you now. Okay, I've already started on some of this, and you can see I'm just taking great big stitches, and I'm going to take a few more here. Basically, they're just big fat running stitches or big basting stitches. I'm going to take a few more here. I'm not going too close to the edge. You can go closer than I've gone here, but you don't want to get too close to the edge because you're actually going to put some tension on this. Let me show you what happens when you pull it tight now. You end up with a nice smooth, none of the fabric here is going to be floating around to be able to see from the front side of the frame. So I'm going to work my way the rest of the way around this hoop, and this only takes a couple of minutes, and I can do several stitches at once. I'm actually using quilting thread for this, hand quilting thread. It's a little bit stronger than a regular thread, but it doesn't matter. You can use a regular thread too. I just have a huge assortment of hand quilting threads, and so I often grab them if I am doing something that could use the extra strength. And I'm just working my way around. I'm not even worrying about trying to stay a uniform distance from the edge. I don't get that fussy about the back of my work. You could even completely hide the back of your stitching if you don't want people to see it. You could layer a second piece of fabric, just an unstitched piece of fabric, plain white muslin or something like that. You could layer that over the back of your fabric before you put it in the hoop, so that you're actually hooping 2 layers of fabric together, where the whole purpose of the second layer of fabric is really just to hide the back of your stitching. I think that's the safest way to do it. I've seen people sometimes have horrible tragedies happen when they try and cut a circle of felt and glue it in there, because again, even a very small amount of glue, especially if your fabric is white or at all thin, that is going to just show through, and you can ruin a beautiful piece of work that way. I'm really reluctant to use glue on anything that I make, any fabric pieces that I make at least. So we're back around to the beginning, and I'm going to do one more stitch here. And now I'm just going to pull it tight, and it cinched that in nicely. And now I'm going to tie it in a good, strong square knot. So I go down, hold that. If you have an extra person helping you, they could put a finger in there just like if you're wrapping a gift. And I just broke my thread, which means I get to do the whole thing over again. Okay, I went back and redid that all over again. I'm not going to make you watch me thread it through again, and tied it off. And now you can see what it looks like. So it really is just a little ring around the back. And when you hang it on the wall, you can't see any of your backing. It's just a nice, clean, hooped piece. And there's no glue. So that's it. Frame it up just like you would be doing if you were going to be stitching it. Crank it nice and tight, get it as centered in there as you can and as tight as you can. Trim off around the edge, leaving about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and then just do a running stitch to gather that all up and keep it cinched in inside the embroidery hoop. Easy peasy. I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World. I'll see you next time.